What's happening, guys? I'm going to turn your lap times at Australia from this to this. And in order for me to do that, I need to first show you a hot lap that I managed to get at Australia, and then I'm going to take you around the track slowly, giving you guys all the details you need to do in order to be quick at Australia. One quick thing I need to mention before we get into today's track guide is the setups. If you want to get access to the baseline spreadsheet that I've got, make sure to go to the pinned comment section. So without further ado, let's get into the track guide.
With qualifying complete, let's review.
Okay, so coming off of the final corner now, you want to take it as wide as you possibly can, open up DRS, and then you start a lap at Australia. So going into the first corner, this is one of the more difficult first corners when it comes to an F1 calendar. What I like to do is brake in between the 100 and the 50 meter board, right about 75 meters. You want to brake, shift down into 5th gear, and then you want to try and take as much of this curb as possible. So usually I like to have the car like this, but yeah, use all the track on the exit, try not to go over that yellow line or else you will invalidate your lap. And then just keep the car as stable as possible, open up DRS, and then this next corner, 8th gear once again, this one has a much more clear braking zone, but you want to brake at the black box right there on the left hand side. You want to brake down into 3rd gear, and you want to clip this apex here, well, clip the curb on the apex here, because that will help actually rotate the car, because you don't want to go too wide here, because if you go too wide on the other curb, yeah, you're going to lose the car when you're putting your foot on the accelerator, and it's just going to spin the car and have it all over the place. So clip that curb on the apex there, and it helps rotate the car. Then you want to be smooth with your throttle inputs here, usually just before I get to this grey little tarmac strip. That's when I let go of the throttle, because you actually want to let go of the throttle and a little bit earlier for this corner so that you can get on the power as soon as possible, because the next corner is completely flat. You're going to carry all that speed all the way down to the end of sector 1. So lift off the throttle, rotate the car in, get your foot back on the throttle. Even if you need to upshift to 4th gear and do so, use all the track available here. And then this corner, as I said, is completely flat, and then you're taking all of that speed all the way down to the end of sector 1, which is right here. Depending on if you're using ERS or not, you might be in 8th gear, you might be in 7th gear, and the braking zone is literally this barrier on the outside here. You can see how it sticks out, and then there's another part of it on the inside. When you get to this point, you want to brake in a straight line, well, as straight as you can, obviously, because you can see the corner is going to the left slightly, down into 5th gear. Then you want to ride over this curb as much as you can. Be smooth with the throttle, use all the curbing here on exit, and then you just want to have smooth inputs all the way down to this next corner here, carrying all that speed from the previous corner. Once again, you're going to be in 7th gear coming up to this next corner. This is a super late braking here, literally similar to the previous corner. When you get to the barrier outside, which is sort of sticking out, when you get to the end of that, that's when you want to start braking. As I said, super late here. Shift down into 4th gear really quickly, flip the curb on the apex there, and then again just be smooth with the throttle, using all of the curb on exit there. You need to use all of that curb, or else you're going to lose time all the way down to the end of sector 2. Then end of sector 2 now, I like to brake on the 50, just a light braking, and then you're going to swing the car in for qualifying. When you're in the race, you might want to brake slightly earlier, just dependent on, you know, if it's the beginning of the race where you've got more fuel, you might not be able to throw the car as easily. For qualifying at the 50-meter board, light braking, downshift to 7th, flick the car in right over this curb here, and then again just flick the car into this next corner. You don't want to cut the corner or else you will invalidate, so you want to make sure that only one half of the car is actually riding over this curb. Try and keep it as stable as you can, again using all the curb on exit there, again being as stable as you possibly can, and then open up DRS. Then you're coming up to, you know, the main part of sector 3 here. You want to brake just after the 100-meter board in 8th gear, straight line into 5th. Sometimes you might see people using 4th. I think I actually used 4th as well. Flip the curb just as you're passing it, and then get your foot on the throttle. Be as smooth as possible using all the exit here, and then really just cut the car back here. You're going to be in 6th gear coming to this next corner. Right after the 50-meter board, what you want to do is a little lift off of the throttle. I'm not sure if you do tend to have a little bit of a dab on the brakes here. You might need to in this year's game. Maybe a little bit of braking. 5th gear, you don't need to clip the curb here, you just be as close to the curb as possible, be smooth with the throttle, but trying to be quick with it so that you're using as much that you're carrying as much speed as you possibly can. And then you want to use all of this curb, and then you want to throw the car back onto the right hand side, because as soon as you hit the first Rolex sign, that's when you want to brake in a straight line from 5th or 6th gear down into 3rd gear, and then just clip. Well, yeah, actually you don't need to clip this curb here, just be as close to the curb as you possibly can. And then for this next corner, I like to double upshift up to 5th gear, and then just be as close to this curb as possible. Use all the exit, open up DRS, and that is a lap of Australia. Okay, so you've checked out my Hotlap. You've now been around the circuit with me, slowly checking out all the details about the circuit. Now all you need to do is go out there and practice. So whether it's GP mode, whether it's online racing, whether it's 5 laps races, or even 25%, make sure to go out there, practice what I taught you, and your lap time should drop. So before we end the video off quickly, I want to go through some of the more boring YouTube stuff. If you did learn from this video and you did enjoy it, make sure to smash that like button, and also come back to the video and go to the comment section down below and let me know how much time you were able to gain thanks to this track guide. Also consider subscribing if you're new to the channel and you want to see more track guides like this and tutorials as well. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.